imagine going out to eat with your husband and he says, do you want fries? And you say, oh no, I'm not gonna have any fries, just order for yourself. And so he says, okay. So he orders his own fries. And then when you go to take a few, he says, no, you can't have any. You said you didn't want some.
I'm not quite sure how to make this video brief, but I think this brings a really interesting conversation about how men and women across the board, for the most part, are garbage at listening to what the other actually wants. Women often listen to women about what they believe men want. Men often listen to men about what they believe women want. And it's, one of the reasons we have all of these nonsense dude bro podcasts, because men are listening to other men instead of listening to women in good faith. And this is such an interesting, like, if you really boiled this down, it's the comments across the board. Women saying, it's not that big a deal. You should find a new boyfriend, blah, 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 blah. And almost across the board with men, it's like, hey, I ordered precisely what I wanted and I gave you the opportunity, and now you want the thing I got. That frustrates me. They're not saying you're a garbage human being. They're not saying you're awful, but they're saying it's frustrating because they chose what they wanted, gave you the opportunity, you said you didn't want anything, and then changed your mind, and now we're expecting part of the thing they got. Now, if my girlfriend, after I came back and said, you want anything from McDonald's? No, I'm good. I don't want anything at all. And I came back with a 20-piece nugget, and then she wanted half my 20-piece, I'd probably be frustrated. Would I give it to her? Sure. Would I turn around and go back and get 10 more nuggets? I absolutely would, because that's what I wanted. And it's the way, like, a great example of this is men thinking every woman, just wants a guy that's 6'4" and makes $1,200,000 a day. And it's like, yeah, there's some of those people, but you're listening to this many people and thinking an exception is proving the rule. Because when every other woman in your life tells you, I want a funny, charming, sweet guy that actually gives a crap about me, you turn around and you tell that woman, no, you don't. You don't actually believe that. But I know a half a dozen not very good looking guys right now with beautiful, wonderful, charming, supportive girlfriends that are funny and smart, and because they're decent human beings. And far too often we get into these little things that seem like really stupid little things, and we decide as people that the other person doesn't actually know how to engage in good faith. They don't know what they want. I know what they want. And when they tell me, hey, you told me this, you're wrong. You couldn't possibly. And yeah, it looks like a little dumb thing, but it's not that serious. It actually is, because it's a real symptom of a much bigger problem of, again, almost across the board, 80, 85, 90% of the men and women out there have their ears turned off when they're listening to the opposite gender about what they actually want out of a thing. And I just thought this was such an interesting, tiny little case study. And there's going to be people that come into these comments and go, it's not that serious, bro. It's just French fries, bro. I'm sorry, you're bad at people. And ultimately, you're not going to end up being good at relationships if you can't point out the little things that are symptoms of much larger issues.